She's saying yes, if you can hear her. I can't hear her. Or the house. Yes. Yes. Well, all right. Everybody welcome in. Get up, bring the energy, because it is time to start the Cassandra Show!
Show, your #1 spot for good music, a little tea, and a whole lot of inspiration. Today, y'all, the chit chat, it's not just conversation, it's confrontation. Y'all, we're diving deep into the kind of love that keeps leaving the scars that we don't want.
Oh.
Yeah. The kind of patterns we watched growing up, repeated without even knowing, and the chains that keep too many of us stuck in toxic cycles. This is about broken trust, about mistaking pain for passion, about calling chaos chemistry. But it's also about healing, about finding the courage to say enough. So y'all get all comfy.
Come on.
Yeah.
Grab that bubbly beverage.
Come on.
And let's get this show started. Let's get it started. Woo. Now, before we dive into today's chit chat, we the people are going crazy over today's headlines. Now, y'all, this is right. This sounds like a whole TV drama right here. In Ackerman, Mississippi, the mayor fired the police chief and the entire department said, bet. And they all quit.
Get out of here.
In protest. Yes, they did. They're nodding their heads. No, the audience is like, yes, they did. So here's the tea. The town council wanted to reappoint police chief Martha Carradine, but the mayor vetoed it and demoted her down to a patrol officer. A respectful job, but when you're up there, it's like, Yeah. Next thing you know, officers started dropping resignations like mixtapes. Now the whole department's basically gone. It's just Carradine and another cop that's left. And that last officer already put in a 2-week notice. So yeah, Ackerman's got no real police force right now. The Choctaw County Sheriff's Office had to step in just to keep the peace while the mayor scrambles to find replacements. Whew. Now, that's some small town politics. It done turned into a whole mess. Don't y'all agree?
Yes.
I mean, the whole thing.
Yes.
Whew.
Well,
What if that happened in Congress or somewhere?
Well,
I'm just saying.
you're taking it to another level.
I'm just saying.
what if that happened around here?
What if that happened around
So, guys,
here?
if I was to quit, y'all coming with me.
Man, keep your job.
Oh, Chris, I'll be over here doing the hosting and pressing buttons at the same time.
Oh, you ain't going?
You good job. Let's move on to this next one. Please don't go.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm just
now,
checking.
Let's talk movies. Marlon Wayans is not here for the haters dragging his new film, Him. Critics gave it a rough 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. But Marlon hopped on IG like, y'all said the same thing about white chicks in Scary Movie, and look how that turned out. Period. Ooh. Now, the movie's wild. It's a horror sports thriller about a young quarterback who gets sucked into some dark, sacrificial underworld of the NFL. Now, Marlon plays the OG vet, showing him the ropes, but let's just say not all mentorship is free. And Marlon's message to the fans, don't listen to the critics. Y'all go see it for yourself. He's betting his movie Him is ahead of its time, just like the rest of his classics. What y'all got to say about that?
I can't wait to see it.
You're a little scared?
I'm a little scared.
Why are you a little scared?
Them previews are so graphic. Like, this is not it. I know you. I'm going to show you the trailer.
Ooh.
I'm going to show you the trailer. And see,
You don't think I can watch it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't
then
think so.
don't show me the trailer.
This is nice looking right here.
Are you serious?
Yes. And you know me. I'm a little creeped out.
Yeah.
I'm a little creeped out
You
by it.
like creepy stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
This kind of took the cake.
But this is like past Halloween creep.
Sis, this is, all right. Tomorrow, tune in tomorrow. And
Y'all
check her
tune in
reaction.
tomorrow.
We're gonna talk about this
Okay,
again
I
tomorrow.
love
Yes,
it.
this is
Okay.
crazy.
I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
got to.
All right, so y'all, let's go into today's conversation. So many of us grew up watching unhealthy relationships, maybe in our homes, maybe in our own past. And without even realizing it, we repeat what we've seen. Broken trust, toxic love, emotional abandonment. It becomes familiar, even when it hurts. But what happens when you decide enough is enough? What happens when you stop surviving love and start transforming it? Our guest today is not only a renowned trauma therapist, she's also the resident therapist on TLC's hit series, The Last Resort. She's here to walk us through the hard truths, the healing, and the hope that comes with breaking the chain of unhealthy relationships. Y'all, please welcome to the Lavender Couch, Dr. Janie Lacy. Oh my goodness, I am so delighted to have you here today. And you look stunning.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so let's dive into this. Let's talk about the first pattern, Dr. Lacy. So many people don't even realize that they're repeating the same relationship patterns until it's too late. What was the moment in your own journey when you first recognized the cycle?
You know, every family is our first education of relationships, of how we deal with emotions. So in my own personal life, my first education was, little trigger warning, was the murder of my eldest sister, Carmen. So she was in a toxic relationship.
I'm so sorry.
And like a lot of women that I work with, they keep it a secret. Keep it a secret because from the outside it looks pretty, or today it's the Instagram-worthy pictures, but inside the relationship there's a devastating secret. So when I was 10 years old, my family had to go and identify my sister, and she was on a restraining order. So we know 1 out of 3 women, when they're leaving a relationship, it's the most dangerous time, and my sister became a statistic when I was 10 years old.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm so very sorry.
Thank you.
Why do so many people confuse survival with love? Staying in toxic relationships because leaving feels scarier than staying.
It does feel scarier, but we look back from our patterns in our family, sometimes that's what we've seen. Or I would say in my generation and above, right, you learn to, especially if you bring on the Christian spread.
Yes.
You learn to stay, you look at that as strength versus what we should celebrate is when people are leaving and finding themselves. But a lot of times there are messages that are passed down to people that staying power, you work it out. But what we'll see, especially in therapy, is a lot of times people will take healthy education and try to spread it on toxic relationship dynamics. And you can't communicate, do all these other things. It doesn't work when there's an abusive.
When it's not healthy.
When it's not healthy and it's abusive.
So do you just say, hey, if it's toxic, get out of it? Or is there a situation where, okay, maybe if you do all the good stuff, it may be fixable, but perhaps you need to separate during that time?
Well, first, as a licensed psychotherapist, I never tell people what to do.
Okay, I understand that.
However, I would tell someone to look for if both of you have a growth mindset, right? Because we have a growth mindset and we have a fixed mindset. So if someone, this is the way that I am, this is how you married me, and they're not, ain't nothing gonna change. This is who I am. That would be a fixed mindset. But if you can lean in and get your partner or your spouse's feedback and you're curious about it and you're willing to at least get influenced by it, then that's something that most people can probably work through dysfunctional patterns.
That's great advice. I love that. So when you look at families, Dr. Janie, how often do you see unhealthy relationships being passed down like an inheritance?
Well, we see it quite often, and this is the reason being, is because a lot of people don't recognize it. Like, for example, if they say, my dad was an alcoholic, well, I don't have an alcohol problem, but your dad was also emotionally unavailable. Now, are you emotionally available, right? So it can pass down in subtle ways until we get curious, until it's not about blaming our history, but getting curious. And then we start doing our healing work, we can break those cycles.
Ooh, you got to be willing to see it, confront it, and ready for the healing. Oof. So the cost of being strong is expensive sometimes. It's very expensive, especially for women. There's this pressure to be strong, to endure, to fix. How does that pressure keep people locked in relationships that are actually destroying them?
Well, if you're the strong one, and let's say you are the CEO or you're in the C-suite, you have a rocking career, then you have shame. And shame can potentially keep you stuck in secrecy. And we always say, like in AA, you are as sick as your secrets. So if you don't share because no one around you, you're the strong one. Oh, you got this. Oh, you got this, girl, right? And you're used to those types of messages, and the shame that there's something wrong with me because of whatever I'm going through. It keeps people stuck in their secrecy, and they're afraid to ask for help until it's usually at the last straw.
Almost at the end.
Yes.
I love the saying, check on your strong friends.
Yes,
This is kind of recent. We've been saying this. Or my girlfriends and I will do a pulse check. You know, all of my executive friends, it's like, girl, pulse check, how you doing? It's so important to take a moment and make sure that your strong friends aren't being forced to just be strong and they're falling apart on the inside. Would you not agree?
Yes, I 100% agree. Being strong all the time is actually not a sign of strength. Being vulnerable, reaching out for help and saying, you know what, I can't do it all and I don't have to carry all the potato sacks on my shoulders, that it's the community, it's just reaching out for help. That's where the true strength is.
And with that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. For the culture. This is Sandra's show. Woo! Y'all, we had an amazing praise break before the culture. Y'all better go ahead over there.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Y'all make some noise for y'all band. Listen, I am sitting here with the one and only Dr. Janie Lacy, and we are talking about the most needed conversation right now, and that's dealing with relationship trauma, toxicity, all of those things. And now we're going to talk about the mirror of trauma,
Yes.
Dr. Janie. So often, unhealed trauma attracts like more trauma. How do you help someone see that their partner is sometimes just a reflection of their unhealed wounds?
Well, that takes a journey, because what we see, especially in the therapeutic room, is a lot of times we have subconscious material that we don't even see what we need to see in order to break some chains in our own life. But we can't figure that out by being single and being alone. It's usually in the relationships with other people. They bring out your triggers. They bring out all the unhealed stuff that we have yet to address.
Yes.
So the first thing, depending on why they're coming in, is there has to be ownership of a certain dynamic. There are true situations where people are truly victims in their circumstances. But if someone has the ability to be curious as to what I'm adding to this, and most times I would say when people are coming to therapy, they want some feedback. They want to understand.
Yes.
So how we approach that will matter. So if we have influence and there's a curious mind, then we can help them see that it's not necessarily about blaming, but it's about looking, if I want to have a different result in my relationship, what's within my control.
Accountability?
Accountability,
Ooh,
right?
that word, y'all, that word. So you've worked with countless people. What is the one moment that usually signals someone is truly ready to leave an unhealthy relationship and begin the work of healing?
So what we'll see is when she or he gets to the place of desperation, they've gone to multiple therapists, that at some point it's now to her or his detriment to stay in that relationship. So usually when people hit some type of rock bottom or they've tried time and time again, it's like a loop. And at some point they just get sick and tired of getting sick and tired and they want to get off of the merry-go-round. And when that happens, that usually means that we got their attention.
When you get the call. That loop is the insanity loop where you're doing the same thing over and over,
Over and over
expecting
and over again.
a different outcome. So it's time to come out of that situation. I'd love to redefine love with you in this next topic. Once someone breaks free, how do they relearn what love is so they don't just fall back into the same cycle with a new person?
And they absolutely will.
They will?
If they don't do the work, right? So they have to do the work. So in order to really break chains and to not necessarily repeat the same pattern, I kind of look at it as the 3 pillars. The first one is they have to have a mindset that is going to get off the loop and be willing to learn new information, right? Because we all have a belief system, and our belief system is deeply ingrained in who we are. And if we put everyone's life on a little whiteboard, we can see the same patterns over and over and over again.
Yes.
So we start with their mindset, and then we look at their inner work. The inner work is looking back at what keeps showing up today that is rooted in the past. And when we can make those connections and someone gets curious, then they can start making some different decisions. And then we also look at The Body Keeps the Score by Vanderkolk, right? It's not my work. But in his book, he will talk about how trauma gets stored in our body. Think about when you get triggered. When someone's triggered, they may feel it in their ears. Yes. So we have to have all 3 pillars to really get to the place of healing. And they have to eventually get all rowing at the same time.
Have you ever worked with a person to the point where they're not triggered anymore?
Oh, absolutely. And it's such a beautiful thing.
It has to be.
It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, child, because them triggers, talk to us.
Yes. but as we know, with the triggers, they don't necessarily go away. But how someone reacts to them is no longer there. They're now responding to them.
I love that. You don't give them power.
Right. No, you don't give it power anymore. You take back your power.
Right? Reclaiming our time.
That's right.
I love it, Dr. Janie. So for someone watching right now who is in the middle of that cycle, crying themselves to sleep but scared to leave, what's the very first step you tell them to take today?
The very first step I would tell them to take today is that they're not alone and to not make any major decisions seek safe people, because not everyone should be part of your journey.
Correct.
And just start there. That's the first step, is for them to understand that there are reasons why we specialize in this, because there are many people that go through this, and then to seek some safety, because they have to be safe in order to really start making some changes in their life emotionally.
That's powerful. That's good. Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
Now, to our viewers, some of us were raised on love that didn't feel like love. We were taught to mistake survival for connection, abandonment for independence, chaos for chemistry. And so we repeat what we saw. We choose what feels familiar even when it hurts. We stay, we shrink, we silence ourselves in the name of love. But healing begins the moment you say enough. Before the show, we gave our guest, Dr. Janie, a quiet moment, a notebook, a pen, and the chance to write a letter to her younger self. The one who confused pain with passion. The one who thought love meant losing yourself to keep someone else. The one who hadn't yet learned how to break the chain. Today, she writes back with truth, with tenderness, with power. So take a deep breath. I need y'all to lean in. This next moment is sacred. It's where we stop pretending and start speaking life into the woman who didn't know yet that real love would never require her to disappear. This is Dear Me, Dr. Janie Lacy.
Dear little Janie, I wish I can reach back through time and wrap you in the biggest hug. Whispering in your ear that you are exactly enough, exactly as you are. That big heart that feels everything so deeply, it's not too much. It's your superpower. I know sometimes you feel different. That's because you're meant to stand out. Your sensitivity and creativity, these aren't things to hide. They're the very things that will make you extraordinary. You are seen, loved, and you matter. You won't believe this, but one day you are going to be seen by millions, not only on The Last Resort, every week on Court TV, and so many other shows. Trust your instinct. Speak up for yourself, and remember, the very things that make you different today will become your greatest gifts tomorrow. You're gonna do amazing things, sweet girl. All my love, your future self.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
I love that you said that heart of yours, that big heart of yours, that's your superpower. I love thinking of a heart that is just open to the world, to everything. And even though the world may crush you, it's your superpower.
Yes.
To remain loving and open to people. Hearing those words now, what do you think that your younger version of you needed most in that moment?
What she needed most was to know that she was loved, that she mattered, to be seen, to be held, and to have those that were around her be curious about her world. That's what she needed the most. Her 8-year-old little self.
Her 8-year-old self needed everyone to be curious about her world.
Yes.
Well, you have millions of people who are curious about your world now. It's such a blessing. How did you start shifting the way you saw yourself so you could stop settling for less than you deserve, Dr. Janie?
So not only do I help women and people professionally, but the beauty is that I've had my own trauma in my own life.
Yes.
And they're not separate, right? It matters, right? That I understand that relational trauma, emotional neglect, all of these things, at some point, you have to say to yourself, something has to change.
Yes.
And when we get to that part and we start leaning into doing the work, that's where the true journey starts.
Yes. Love that moment. So if someone's watching and they wrote their own Dear Me, if they wrote their own Dear Me letter today, what would you want them to say to that version of themselves still stuck in that cycle?
So the parts of that person that's still showing up today, whether it's abandonment in relationships, whether it's not feeling good enough, I would tell that person to write to that part of them, whether it's the part that feels not good enough, whether it's the part that feels abandoned, whether it's the part that was abused, is to speak into that wound, because that's where the wisdom can start growing from that place of the wound, because so many people avoid it. But if we lean into that and we speak to it, we can truly, truly start, because we can't heal things that we don't deal with, and we can't deal with things that we can't even speak out of our mouth.
Yes, that is so true. You know, it's so interesting that when you speak to yourself, there's so much to say that you've probably never said before. As a child, people say, well, you can talk to yourself, just make sure you ain't answering. It's like, but to speak to yourself and to hear the older version speak to the younger version is very powerful. Do you encourage people that you see to speak to themselves, speak to that spirit?
I encourage most people that when they look back and they continue to grow, to embrace all versions of them. And that really is going to be important part of their healing, when we can embrace all versions of ourselves, because we did the best that we could when we did the things that we did. And that's going to be a huge part of that journey, when we can forgive ourselves and speak to those parts in our journey.
I love that. Dr. Janie, thank you so much for being with us. How can our viewers find you really quickly?
Yeah, JanieLacy.com, JanieLacy.
JanieLacy.com. Again, thank you for joining us. To all of our viewers, we know y'all can be somewhere else. Thank you for joining us. God bless you. We'll be back tomorrow. For the culture!
All right. Come on, everybody. Come on. Just scan that QR code at the bottom of your screen, because we've got so much more exclusive content for you right here only